Hiya and welcome to another one of Rob's Friday videos. Welcome. This one is, and you can probably hear it's pouring outside actually, I should mention. Someone isn't running a tap somewhere, that is the rain. It's a very, very stormy day. Anyway, I actually realised that I'd forgotten some footage that I'd filmed because the thing is we're musicians first, right? We're not social media experts necessarily. Okay, some of us are. I try and keep up with all my social media, as you know, from these clips and my YouTube shorts and so on, and my Instagram, and I try and do as much as I can. But sometimes when you're just doing it on your own and you're from studio to studio, gig to gig and lesson to lesson and stuff, it's very hectic. And sometimes videos get missed. And I actually did a video on the Tuesday before or the Wednesday before I went into Real World with Little Men. And it was about taking the heads off of the drums and letting the drums breathe and so on, which is what this is going to be about. So what's happened is that I'm going to bolt a few things on in between, like this talky bit, and the rest of it will be the bits that I filmed before going into Real World, with the idea of once I'd shown you the head preparation and tuning, then going into the studio to say, here's the drum kit. But guess what? Like I've said before, sometimes on sessions, you don't get a chance to do that. And even though we were in there for 2 days, and because I was producing, I had many different hats to put on, and as well as, you know, the time management and so on, there really wasn't time for me to sit down and film a little bit of me playing, believe it or not, because my head just wasn't in that space. So I kind of forgot to do it. So anyway, I've bolted some clips together. What you'll see is obviously this first, hi. Then you'll see me talking about drumhead prep. And while I'm here, I might as well say that I always use Remo. I'm a Remo endorser. Most of the time, I always use the CS black dot underneath the head on the snare drum. And on the toms, I'll always use Ambassador Clear on the bottom, on my DW kit that is, not on my vintage, that's a different thing. And on the top, I'll have white coated Emperors. I love those. Sometimes I'll go for clear Emperor, but most of the time it's the coated. So yeah, you're going to see that video of me talking about that, taking the heads off, doing all those kind of things. But unfortunately, we haven't got any snippets of me. There are some out there, but I haven't got some yet of me playing the kit. But it isn't for our use. This was just promo stuff as we were recording. So I'll try and get some of that when I can get it from the people that filmed it. That would be great. And then it's going to go into a little chatty bit about my drum kit. Another session, which was 2 days after the Real World one, where I'm at NARM Studios again. But anyway, here's the first clip. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in a second. Hi there. Thanks for joining me on this video. And I'm just talking about prep for the studio. So I'm at home at the moment, just relaxing, joined by John and Paul up there. And as you'll see in the pictures in a second, I've got my 10 and my 12 and my 14-inch floor tom here. I'm reheading the 12 with a new head that I got today from Dramatic. I actually have an endorsement with Remo, but at the moment, until I go back out on the road and I need just various odds and sods, as they say, I'm happy just to go to a local store and support them and get my drum heads and stuff and sticks and bits and bobs. And today I was off to Dramatic in Frome. And with my 10, with my, actually not so much the 14, because the 14 is a reasonably new head as well, but the 10 is quite well played. Quite a few gigs have occurred on that drum head, but she's not quite ready to go just yet. It doesn't dimple or pit at all. So it's still got some playability. And today is Tuesday, and in 2 days' time, I'm going into Real World Studios with the band Little Men, where I'm going to be drumming and also producing their new album. So basically what I like to do when I'm using any kit really, a few days before if I can. Sometimes they're just in the back of the car and they go straight into the gig, and then the next day I'm in the studio and I don't get a chance to do it. But what I quite like to do is, I know it's a bit daft, but I quite like the drums to breathe. And what I mean by that is I will take the heads off, top and bottom, and just leave them for sometimes just a couple of hours, sometimes it's half a day, sometimes a full day. You know, I'll probably leave these a day if I can. Without any, obviously, tension on the shells or anything. You know, there's no hoops or anything, no rims. And then I like to rehead the kit, and I do it in here, in my living room, and I rehead it, and I'll tune it, fine tune it, top and bottom. But I like to do it this way. I just like to feel that the drums get a chance to go for a while before they're going to be reheaded and then shoot off to the studio and then more gigs and then blah, blah, blah. This kit has actually been all over Europe with me and the Mediterranean with Lorena McKinnett. So it's seen a lot of action and keeps coming back for more. And it's a DW's, It's a DW collector's kit, maple, and it's in broken glass finish. So that's really what I'm doing here. And it's something that if you've got the chance to do it, you should give it a go. I think drums like to breathe. I think it's nice sometimes to take all the hardware off it, give the shell a break for a minute, or a couple of days or a couple of hours, and then rehead it so we can let's go round again, as the Average White Band once sang. And the 10 is sort of mid-flow at the moment. I've almost got all of the heads off. Tension screws are all undone, almost. Yeah, just that one to go here. And as I say, it's just something you could try, because somebody asked me what I do, and this is what I do. I'm not going to do the whole process in real time, because it'll be very boring. You know what someone tightening the drum head and putting a drum head on looks like, you know. But I just thought I would mention it, and it's quite a good thing. So obviously I'll leave it here. I'm going to wait a couple of days or a day or so, and I'll rehead this bad boy. We'll see where that goes from there, with us on Friday and Saturday in Real World, where you'll see the kit doing its thing, all tuned up after it's had a chance to breathe and everything, and away we go. So as I say, unfortunately we haven't got the clip of the drums tuned and me playing them at the studio, but what follows is a little kit breakdown of a session I did with a local singer-songwriter at NARM Studios with Tyler Spicer on the desk. And you'll see the breakdown of the drum set and the cymbals and so on and so forth. And as I said before, I'm going to try and do a bit more of this if I can, if time allows, on sessions, because people really do like to know that kind of info. So it's the same drum kit I used at the Real World Little Men's session. Maybe not as many cymbals. Well, I know it's not. It's not as many cymbals and it's not as many drums. But you'll get to see a little breakdown and so on and so forth, and even an up-close shot of the infamous snare drum. So check this out. Okay, so here we are at NARM Studios. I've got my DW collector's kit, or part of it, in broken glass sparkle. We've got the 12 up there and the 14. And at the moment, and I have been for a while, not just at the moment, but I'm rocking the Emperor heads. I love the Remo Emperors coated. They're just the thing for me on these toms. I like them very much, and I have them obviously on all of the drums. Got some Vickforth 5As and Bs there, just in case I need to change things up. And yes, the JUGGS snare drum, which is having its first outing in the studio, and it sounds great actually. We weren't sure, we thought we might change it up to the usual 14x7 DW collector snare, which is called a Hitmaker, because it's played on a lot of good albums and Grammy winning albums and so on. It's a great drum. And I think that'll stay on the set for tomorrow. I don't know. I haven't heard the track or some of the tracks for tomorrow's session yet, so we'll find out. So down to the 5000 pedal. People ask me why not the 9000, because it's a great pedal, but I just feel there's a lot on it to fiddle with. It's very well engineered, let's put it that way. And when I was at the factory in Oxnard, hanging out with Don Lombardi, I said that very thing, and he said, well, that's cool, man, you know, you get the pedal you want to get. So I went with a 5000 double. Cymbal wise, we've got a Vulcan Legend, and on the bottom I've actually got the Dark Master. See if you can see that. So they're not quite a complete pair, they're a odd pairing, but they sit really nicely together sound wise. And we've got a classic crash there. Whoops, there we go. Make you feel giddy watching this. Classic 18-inch crash. We've got another Legend 22-inch ride there, so two of the Legend ranges on the kit. And my other really favourite one of their ranges, Vulcan ranges, is Etna, and I love them. And I've got a few crashes and rides in this series, and that's an 18-inch medium crash, which is just a winner. And the stuff we're doing today, well, it looks all a bit cramped here, like you can see those drums there, look. Also that these have been brought in. It's because we're going to be tracking other parts of the studio, and we're just closing the drums down for a bit because we don't need the drums to ring or sing or anything. So we've just done that, if you're wondering why the screens are so close. Nurse, the screens. That's why. But this is a great little setup. I use this kind of 4-piece kit with various snares and various cymbals changed in and out on most sessions that I do. You know, you'll see pictures of me with 2 top toms and 2 floors, or 1 top, 2 floors. You know, different combinations and different sizes. In the DW collectors, I've got, for rack toms, I've got 8, 10, 12, 13. And for floor toms, I've got 14, which obviously is that one. I've got 14, 16, and 18. And in the DW snares, I've got 14 by 7 and 13 by 5. This is obviously the JUGGS, of course. But and I've got a few Slingerlands, which I think you would have seen, a Ludwig 400, and so on. And this drum here really takes the place of a 402, if I'm honest. You know, it's got that sort of crack to it. An amazing drum, which I spoke about last week, and Pete and Gabor and Matt and Ian, all the drummers on the Palace Drum Camp, all fell in love with it. They said it was the only thing they didn't fall in love with was the name, and I agree, the name is not great. And there's my throne. There we go. That's where one sits to play aforementioned tubs here. And NAMM's very much like a home for me. I do all my private teaching from here and a lot of my online lessons from here when I'm on kit. If I don't need to do just theory, mentoring, or, you know, practice pad type stuff, I will come here. But this is the setup. As I say, Tyler Spicer is engineering, an incredible musician, a very talented producer and engineer, making his way in the world at the moment, and it's good to have him on board. So we're working with a local singer-songwriter, and we're in for today and tomorrow. And yes, I just thought I'd drop by and let you see a little bit of the kit that we're using, because sometimes it's all pics, isn't it, and stuff. You don't always get to see this kind of thing, because I don't always get the time, because a lot of the time people are saying, Rob, can you get on with tracking, please? And it's like, yes, stop talking into your phone and filming things. We need to crack on, old chap. So yes, so I just thought I'd give you a little idea of this. Bit of a Glyn Johns type vibe, isn't it, in a way? This with a few extra, obviously that one here would be further back in the room, but we've had to shift it for now. But we've measured it, of course, so we know how far it'll be when we put it back there later on. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. So here's just a little snippet of the drum kit in its natural environment. Okay, so there you have it. As I say, there were 2 different setups, and the prep really that I did at the start of the video, which was originally for the other session, is what I would do at any time if I can for any session. It wasn't just for that particular thing. Like if I have the time, I will always take the heads off, let the drums breathe a little bit, let everything relax, and then put the heads back on tune up. And I will do a thing on tuning. I've had a few messages on Instagram about tuning, especially of the snare drum and stuff, from my friend Sal. And I will do that for you at some point. Plus there's going to be a Vulcan cymbals video as well, because I'm really aware that I haven't done anything on those cymbals, you know, and they need some airtime. You know, you guys need to see and hear them so you can check them out and check out the ranges. So yeah, there we go. Studio prep, kits, tuning, heads, boom, boom, boom. I hope that was of interest to you. As ever, if there's anything on this clip that you want to ask me, any questions, because I'm still getting more questions in, which is brilliant. Spreading the drumming love. Then send those to me via email or Instagram or YouTube. You know, I'm always happy to answer and make the videos that you would like me to make. I've also had another request for a breakdown of some of the Susie Sue drum parts, which sounds quite fun actually. I'll have to ask people if I can do that, the powers that be, but that could be a cool thing as well. So as ever, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you found it interesting. Have a great weekend. Enjoy gigging, enjoy drumming, enjoy life. I shall see you next Tuesday for another pad or brush or something video. So have a cracking weekend, and I'll see you next week.